Please stop. I don't like that. I'm feeling uncomfortable.
If you think socialism is so bad, stop going on break at work. Stop taking your days off that you're given. Stop going on vacation. Stop taking bathroom breaks. Work 7 days a week. Work 90 hours a week. Don't ever ask for raises. Don't ever expect raises. In fact, ask for lower pay. Give up your benefits. Give up your health insurance. Give up your 401k. Give up your dental, your vision. Give up your paid time off. Give up your unpaid time off. Doesn't sound very fun, does it? Socialists are the ones who organized and fought for workers' rights. Don't partake in something you think is so terrible.
Good morning. Bad news. Your job is illegally stealing money from you directly out of your paycheck. And that's not just a catchy opener, it's very real. Every year, employers pocket billions of dollars stolen from their employees in a practice called wage theft. That's when your boss asks you to work a few minutes off the clock, or as you clock in after your shift starts, or doesn't pay you full overtime, or cuts your lunch break short, or any other action that prevents you from being paid for the time and effort you're legally owed. And it adds up to tens of billions of dollars a year. But that's not even the worst part. Because even when they're blatantly caught stealing from you, like when Walgreens stole an estimated $20 million from their workers by rounding down time cards and denying lunch breaks, after a class action lawsuit, employees only got back $2.8 million, or about $1,200 each. So here's the question: what happens when you steal from Walgreens? Well, one man caught shoplifting less than $1,000 in a viral video was sentenced to nearly a year and a half in prison. Meanwhile, the CEO of Walgreens, who oversaw his company's criminal wage theft, received a salary bump from $7 million to $17 million. And in the aftermath of the lawsuit, not one single person was prosecuted. Oh, and by the way, Walgreens then raised their prices, claiming that shoplifting was out of control, which they then had to admit was an outright lie so they could price gouge you.
I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
Stop scrolling if you want to help save someone's life. If you have something more important to do, keep scrolling. Yesterday, the Islamic regime executed two innocent young people, Sayyid Mohammad Hosseini and Mohammad Mehdi Karami. Two other people got their death sentences at the same time as them. Mohammad Boroghani and Mohammad Qobadlu. What happened to them can happen to these people at any minute. Any minute. Yes, we tried our best to save them by advocacy and by saying their name and by reaching out to parliament members and to do whatever the fuck we could possibly do. But just because they got executed, it does not mean that we have to stop fighting for these people and so many others who are still on the death row. This fight is not over yet. I don't have any magic solutions to come up with. But all I know is that advocacy works. Yes, they will keep executing people to make us stop advocating, to make us stop talking on social media. But we shouldn't give up. How would you feel if this would happen to me? How would you feel if what happened to Muhammad would happen to me? I know that you don't know me personally, but don't tell me that you don't care. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Please, don't stay silent. These are my brothers who are getting murdered. And if I was in Iran, the same thing would have happened to me as well. Now tell me that you don't care. Look me in the eyes and tell me that you don't care. Have a nice day, everyone.
It's pretty wild that the first part of any salary negotiation is the part where the company offers a prospective employee less pay than they know that they can afford, hoping that the employee will just blithely accept it and not negotiate for fairer compensation, even though the company knows that they can afford it. And we just accept that as like good business.
Your ass got that look like fat ass Chris Brown though, no cap.
I tell you what you look like, but you won't like it.
Ooh, Cali Burrito, abolish football already. Football is just gladiator games where the people don't die inside the arena, so everyone thinks it's civilized. Meanwhile, high school football players have 2.5 times the national average rate of CTE, and professional football players have 13 times the national average. 80% of NFL players who retire lose their savings within 3 years. And they don't get to retire for that long because the average lifespan for a former NFL player is 60 years, almost 15 years less than the national average. Also, this targets people of color because 70% of the NFL players are people of color. Meanwhile, only 5 of the 32 coaches and only 2 of the owners are people of color, and none of the owners are black. Football simply profits off of taking advantage of young people of color and giving them brain damage. And if we made it fair and safe, no one would watch it because that's not what they watch it for. So just abolish it already. Yummy Cali Burrito.
Camilo, stop pretending you're Dolores so you can have seconds.
Worth the shot.
I'll be honest, I'm really struggling right now. There have been the worst attacks on the transgender community through legislation that I have ever seen in my life. I've been tracking anti-trans legislation for 3 years now, and in no other time in history can I remember bills flying through red states that target the trans community. In Mississippi and in Utah, the trans ban that would ban gender-affirming care for trans youth passed the House in Mississippi and the Senate in Utah. We have Florida, whose gender-affirming care ban is getting closer to potentially being enacted as well. I have seen 20 states propose these bills, and they are flying through legislatures. We're heading for a system in America where half of the country protects gender-affirming care and affirms trans teens, and half of them try to detransition trans teens and ban them from all walks of life. If there's ever a time to do something, it is now. It is now to start to show up to meetings, to committee meetings, to go out and protest. This year's going to be tough, but I'm going to be here presenting the news to you. Stay strong.
Sure you've seen those videos floating around TikTok showing absolutely horrific workplace accidents, but they're computer generated. They're like animated computer generated reenactments of those accidents. This is the type of job that those videos are about.
Oops, got your coping skills. Now let's see what we got. That's not a coping skill.
These are the most banned books in 2022. Wouldn't it be a shame if people went and read some of these? First, with 17 bans, is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, a book about a 16-year-old girl who oscillates between a prep school that she attends and the poor neighborhood she lives in. Number 4, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, with 22 bans, an examination of our obsession with beauty and conformity that asks questions about gender, race, and class. Number 3, with 24 bans, is Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez. A forbidden romance rocks a Texas oil town in 1937. Number 2, with 29 bans, is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is a series of personal essays from LGBTQIA+ activist George M. Johnson about his childhood, adolescence, and college years. And at number 1, with 41 bans, is Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. In this guide to gender identity, Kobabe explains what it means to be non-binary and asexual.
Y'all are doing this on purpose at this point. Imagine being that obsessed with us that you would permanently tattoo a racial slur on your forehead. We also had that word tattooed into our skin. During the Holocaust, you may have heard of it, where it was used to ethnically cleanse and exterminate our people. But no, you look so boho and free-spirited with that tattoo. Unbelievable.
Quick reminder that all of this will belong to rich white liberals. If we continue down our current path under capitalism, these low property values will be bought up like candy.
Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around.